Welcome to Vaccines Are Us. I am Comrade Dr. Leonid Pestikov. When my country is not screwing around with your elections or poisoning political opponents, we are on a fast track to Putin your safety first. See how I use name of fearless leader here? Why should you wait for approvals from FDA or other agency to approve when you can be protected fast like a Scud missile? 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, we got 'em for you. No waiting and no appointment necessary. No need for worries. New vaccine was tested on Kurds by same doctor who invented nerve agent for Saddam Hussein.
Hi, I'm here for my vaccine.
Okay, please to open jar.
Why does this smell like potato salad? Are there any side effects?
Okay, maybe rash, maybe impotence. I'm not knowing. So how you are feeling?
I haven't felt like this in years. I think I just saw my dead Uncle Tony.
So what you are waiting for, come see us now. When visiting, knock 3 times and use secret password. Then slide money under door, and you are on the road to healthy living. Why wait in long lines? Come see us now. First 3 customers get free soup. Visit our website for more information. Remember, secret police could be watching. Don't use your real name. Welcome to Greater Good Radio on WOR 710 AM, the voice of New York. Welcome to this episode of Greater Good Radio. It's the economy, stupid. That was the war cry used by James Carville, who was then President Clinton's campaign manager in 1992 when he was running against George Bush some years ago. That's got to be the first and foremost as we re-engage in the months and years in front of us. I'm not here bashing any political party, one or the other. Those who didn't support the Democratic ticket predicted doom and gloom if Trump left office. Well, that really hasn't been the case. Since President Biden took office, the stock market has rallied and is up over 28%. The stock market reacts to confidence felt by investors, or the feel of what our citizens portray as far as confidence. I believe most of this is due to the surge and acceptance of the vaccination program finally in place as we get out from under the past pandemic restrictions that kept us inside. That does not mean that we can take our finger off the pulse of what's going on, or what we'll face if we do not plan. What do I mean by that? Well, once again, let's look at the numbers. The United States economy cycles. No matter how you look at this, people buy homes every 10 years. They buy cars every 3 years. Now, this can be traced back to the numbers or records kept starting during the Eisenhower administration. So my mantra has always been, those who do not learn business history are doomed to repeat it. Because of the huge corporate tax cut implemented by the Trump administration without any backstop or plan on how to recoup or recover what would be lost from the percentage of taxes that these companies would no longer have to pay, yeah, it offered a bonus for the economy in the short run, but it is coming back to bite us in the rear end. The numbers don't lie. The deficit is through the roof, and we are indebted to China for over $1.1 trillion. Yeah, I just didn't stutter there. $1.1 trillion. Although President Biden has undertaken the project to fix and repair our infrastructure, and God knows we need it, when you look at the bridges and tunnels and other public works that have been neglected for so many years, yeah, this is taken right from President Franklin Roosevelt's playbook when he had to deal with the Great Depression years and years ago. This absolutely will create new jobs along with his plan for renewable energy. All good ideas, but again, it's a temporary fix. Sadly, the thing which actually brought our economy back from the Depression finally was World War II. Now, there's just no way that planet Earth would survive another conflict like that. There are a number of unique cures to get out from under what could be the worst economic downturn in over 80 years. Go to the Greater Good Media LLC YouTube channel, and there are 2 videos which address the debacle that led us here. It's the lack of planning and prevention that always gets us back to a low point, causing the average working stiff to get the short end of the stick. Any of what is being put out there has a long-lasting positive effect for our economy. Neither of the administrations in years past have advanced anything resulting in a real solution or a result which would allow us to breathe a little easier. Stimulus checks? It's a Band-Aid. Short-term loans? Another Band-Aid. Our lives are changing. Our existence as a society is changing. And how we'll go about it with our daily lives is up to us. Here's something I've been putting out there since December of 2020 on nationally syndicated shows throughout the country. It's controversial, but would put our economy on the fast track to regain its position as the economic superpower that it is. What I am suggesting is detailed through Greater Good Media LLC's project Reset. Hopefully, many of us have taken the time this past year while being shuttered indoors to contemplate who we are, where we're going, the way we look at each other, starting with innovation. You know, there's a great story of what Henry Ford had to do with respect to actually surviving and how Ford Motor Company really made it past several of these industrial magnates that wanted to take over his company. He was confronted by a number of his financiers that were looking to call the loans that they had given him or actually modify the interest rates upward. He rejected their requests, and what he did was really very smart and, you know, in a patriotic sense, so American. Henry Ford contacted the manufacturers of the motors that were being put into the Model Ts at that time. He instructed them, hey, look, guys, if you want to do business with Ford, what you're going to do is you're going to pack these motors in wooden crates. Now, the wood has got to be oak or whatever that wood was that he wanted. And what he did was, once the motors were shipped, he would disassemble the crates and use that wood for the floorboards in the Model Ts. I mean, you talk about thinking out of the box, and when you are confronted with crisis or survival, well, these are things that we have to start looking at. Now, there is a simple way for our country to source income streams which could grow our economy and pay the deficit. It comes from the cash hidden under mattresses or squirreled away by people who haven't declared the cash. They haven't paid taxes on it. And now, when I said earlier about taking a cold, hard look at ourselves, look at your typical drug dealer. Take a look at a young guy who is not exactly doing the right thing, but he's selling drugs. He's up early. He gets his guys out to their corners. He makes sure his product is of a particular quality. And then, putting aside that this is illegal, this young man has a work ethic. What I am suggesting is to allow a person like this to pay a flat tax, maybe 20%, on whatever amount of money he has available. tax it, welcome him or her into joining the legitimate business world. Now, this is a little controversial, but look at, we went to war in Vietnam for years, and now Vietnam makes furniture for us. So who are we to say that this individual, although he's maybe had some nefarious conduct that created income, wouldn't this be better for the community, for that person, for people in general, to allow him to come on in, give him a waiver to any prosecution from the past as long as he stops selling drugs, but now he's got this cash available that could actually mean something in America. Like I said, he's now got a chance to participate in life without going to jail as a consequence of his actions, and this benefits everybody. Now, here's a little something else. I don't know if folks are aware of this, but there's approximately $92 trillion in offshore accounts, shell companies. These are companies that were hiding money. They did not bring it into the United States and pay taxes on it. So I would encourage the administration and I would love to hear your feedback about this, because if we were to solicit those companies, those people who have money over in the Cayman Islands, wherever it is, I would like to see the U.S. government attract that money, let these people bring it in the country, pay a 20% flat tax on it, because think about something. If my numbers are completely out the window, if you take half of those dollars, at $46 trillion, and you apply a 20% flat tax, you've got enough to pay off the national deficit. Allowing them to come in and do business with the United States, this is nothing about who they are, what happened. This is a matter of looking at the global economy and saying, you know what? We need this money. We are the country that everybody's trying to climb over our borders and get into. Nobody's looking to jump ship and go to Russia. Hey, you know what? I want to go live in China. No. It's because America, with all of our faults, we are the most trusted country to do business with. So that said, this is not too far out of the box. Just like Henry Ford, he had to do something to survive. I'm not talking doom and gloom. I'm talking about really taking a look at who we are dealing with. I was locked up for years. People who are incarcerated don't lay around all day and just think of what evil they can do outside. Most people just want to have a roof over their head and succeed at life. Well, let's take a look at the other guy. Let's look at these people who have this cash, make it available for small loans in this country for businesses who are hurt by the pandemic. There is just a lot of options and a lot you can do with respect to living when you've got a couple of dollars. Your home is the most single important investment of your life. Making the right choices when improving or remodeling that home can't be left to chance. For over 5 generations, Standard Tile has set the standard in product line, product knowledge, and service. Whether you're remodeling a kitchen, bathroom, or if you need help with design, make Standard your first choice for quality you deserve. Visit Standard at 316 Route 10 West, East Hanover, New Jersey, 973-884-4933, or visit their website at www.standardtilenj.com. We're going to talk a little bit about the real estate market. We're very fortunate to have on Renee Boyd from Glen Mary Realty in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. Hi, Renee. Thanks for joining us on Greater Good Radio.
Hi, Bob. Thanks for having me.
Okay, hey, could you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you work?
I am a realtor for over 25 years, and I work for Glen Mary Realty Agency in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey.
Renee, is your business mostly residential real estate?
We service both commercial and residential. I show homes, sell properties, take care of my clients, work hard to find their best interest.
And what is the basic locale that Glen Mary services?
We service all kinds of properties. We deal a lot with commercial and looking to see what your best investment would be. We deal with a lot of the shore communities and doing summer rentals as well as year-round rentals on the Barrier Island.
How do you find the rental market now that the weather's starting to warm up?
The rental market is booming right now, especially because people don't want to travel that far and they want to spend time with their family. Rental market is good, prices are up, and there's a lot of them out there still.
Okay. And do you think that there will be any inventory left come around, let's say, Memorial Day for someone who wants to rent a property?
No, I think you really need to hurry up and make the move now because a lot of them are being rented within the last couple of weeks. People are really putting the pen to the paper.
Okay. Now you know what? Let's stay there with the pen to the paper. Would you consider this, with your experience in the real estate market, is this truly a seller's market?
It's definitely truly a seller's market. There's not enough inventory, and it's the demand.
If people are looking on the Barrier Island, are they even going to pay market value, or have there been, say, bidding wars?
There have been bidding wars, Bob, and you really need to get out there and move right away. You can't hesitate and wait at this point.
Okay. What do you believe, or if you could describe the status of what the real estate market has done in the past few years and where you believe will end up with respect to inventory, like you just mentioned? You know, I am from the area and I don't see a lot of building lots available. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen after this rush of sales really starts to level off.
I think with the low in the interest rates right now, I don't think we're going to see the market go down. I think it's going to stay steady. Building is coming back right now. Builders are building more now than they did a year ago. Investment properties, it's time to invest your money now. And if you're young, it's a good time to start. There's some good programs out there to learn to put your money since people are getting married later. It's good to invest while you're young.
Renee, tell me what you would do if we could go back in years. Talk to me about what a young couple or a young investor getting involved in real estate right now could do.
I think there's a demand for people that really want to get into the investment market, and there's a program called BRRRR. And what you would do is you would buy, renovate, rent, and refinance and get another one. And really, you could take their money and use it for another investment.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like what you see on late night TV.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is you're basically encouraged, and you would recommend young people get involved in this for, let's say, years down the road for retirement income, correct?
Or even before they get married, for their children to go to college. I'd be more than happy to help anybody that would be interested in that.
Great. That's some great advice. Hey, and let me ask you about what your opinion is on the market in general, but going back to what the Barrier Islands suffered during Sandy. Have all of those problems been remediated, or is there still work being done?
I feel that on the Barrier Island, the prices are high. I think that Sandy's mostly gone at this point, and things are evening out to find what kind of flood insurance is to be paid. There's no more questions really being asked now that that's kind of settled.
Okay. Now, I want to try to get your opinion regarding the commercial real estate market. Have you seen in the past few years a change in retail space rentals and office space in our area?
Right now, if you're a tenant looking to rent, I see a lot of tenants out there only want to do a half year, not a full year lease. So back in the day, they do 2 to 5 years. You're not seeing that as much.
Well, as far as rental spaces are concerned, are you seeing landlords or commercial property owners looking to sell, or are they looking to try to hang on to see what their rent rolls will actually will be in the next year or so?
I think that if you were a good landlord, when the market was, when we were going through the pandemic, if you were a good landlord and worked with your tenants, I'm seeing that they're thriving now. If you really needed that money as a landlord, you weren't in a good position. And I feel that they jumped the gun.
Have you seen any effect on commercial property with respect to foreclosure?
As of right now, no, I haven't seen that. I have seen people that have tenants that weren't paying and they couldn't pay. But I think the government's going to work that out. And if you did work the numbers and you were a good investor and really knew what you were doing, you were okay in this market.
Okay. Well, Renee, thanks for being with us on Greater Good Radio.
Thank you for having me.
There may come a time in your life when you'll need an attorney. Whether it's a car accident or slip and fall, you'll want a professional with experience you can trust. Competence and reliability is what you'll find at the law firm of Hack & Rose. The attorneys at Hack & Rose, with offices located on the 10th floor at 112 Madison Ave in New York City, are dedicated to vigorously protecting the rights and interests of those who have been hurt due to the negligence or recklessness of another party. And the firm consistently achieves the top results in the state of New York representing accident victims. At Hack & Rose LLP, our accident lawyers have the knowledge and experience necessary to assist clients in their pursuit of compensation to cover medical bills, lost wages, and other losses that can result from a sudden accident. If you're interested in pursuing litigation or in need of support after you've been a victim of medical malpractice, the experienced and knowledgeable New York personal injury attorneys of Hack & Rose are prepared to help you more fully understand your legal rights and options. You can call Hack & Rose at 646-916-3890 or visit their website at www.hackroselaw.com for further information. Welcome to a special edition of Greater Good Radio. We're going to talk quite a bit about our economic woes. We're going to talk mainly about the real estate market. Did you know that you can purchase a tax lien on a piece of property and actually own that property for much, much less than its market value? A lot of people still don't know that. This is probably the most opportune time for an investor, for anyone, to purchase a tax lien and own their home for pennies on a dollar. We're very fortunate to have Steve Rosen, an attorney who is licensed in the state of New Jersey, who has some relative expertise in tax liens and bankruptcy, on the phone with us. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, how you doing, Bob?
Good. Steve, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in practice 27 years. I specialize in bankruptcy, taxes, including real property taxes and the like, and this is what I've been doing since I've opened my practice. I had a piece of property that was being sold very, very cheaply in North Bergen, New Jersey. When I got the property, I found that there was a tax lien on it. And looking at the outstanding taxes, the final number I had to pay was spectacular. So I had to pay a huge amount of money to get this property cleared for my own investment. And I became interested in tax lien certificates at that point in time, and that was over 20 years ago.
You were able to actually get the property for less than what its market value was at that time?
I got the property significantly less than market value.
Steve, what is a tax lien?
A tax lien is a government indebtedness owed by the property holder to the government for non-payment of taxes. The state or city has the right to collect that indebtedness by means of a tax lien or foreclosure.
Now, this is what they call in legal terms a priority lien. Is that correct?
Well, not only is it a priority lien, it's one of the highest priority liens. If there is a mortgage or any judgment against a property, it literally supersedes them. If you get a tax lien certificate and you foreclose properly with that certificate, you will not have those outstanding mortgages or outstanding judgments, including an Internal Revenue Service non-payment of tax.
So a tax lien investor, Steve, could end up with property for much, much less than its actual market value.
Its actual value or market value. That's why they're so popular, yes.
Tell us a little bit about what a tax lien yields as far as the way of interest.
The state of New Jersey mandates that maximum interest will be paid by the property owner of 18% plus attorney fees and costs. That means the person who is the lien against will pay that amount. When a tax sale certificate buyer goes in an auction, he can buy it at that rate.
So if a person buys a tax lien for $10,000 and collects it at the end of the year from the property owner, they'd actually pick up $1,800 in interest?
$1,800 in interest plus attorney's fees and any costs that the certificate holder had to lay out, reasonable costs, had to lay out in order to process and collect on the certificate, yes.
Wow, what are banks paying today? Is it 2%, 3%? I can't even think.
Well, let me ask you, you might be nuts to keep your money in a bank today because you don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow, but hopefully the FDIC will make sure that that doesn't happen. But no bank is paying more than 4.5% for a long-term CD.
Steve, there are companies willing to take installment payments on tax liens. What do you think of that idea?
It's a great idea because it's a win-win situation for both parties.
So this would be a good idea for a third-party investor to get it who maybe doesn't have a lot of cash?
Absolutely. You don't really have to own the property. You have the right to own the property, and no one else will supersede that right. It's an excellent investment.
And anyone can purchase a tax lien, is that correct?
Anybody can come in with the money and bid on it and get it, yes.
Thanks for being on Greater Good Radio. Side Street Home Ventures is offering to the public installment payments on tax sale certificates where you can make a couple $100 a month payment and actually end up owning your own home. This is not a Carlton Sheets course where you're going to buy a book and you have hopes and dreams. Side Street Home Ventures actually owns the inventory. They have over 608 tax liens available now. The majority of these liens are on distressed properties. Side Street Home Ventures LLC will do the financing for you. There's no brokers, there's no banks involved. They own the inventory, so they can take monthly payments directly from you. This is really nothing more than the old building and loan mentality from years ago. Building and loan associations were very much like a savings and loan association. They would loan money on properties to build them, to improve them, and that's basically the concept here. Side Street Home Ventures LLC will afford you the opportunity to own your own home for pennies on a dollar. You wonder why Fannie Mae is in so much trouble? The government's intention was actually very good. They want everybody to own their own home. One of their programs where you'd put 3% down as a down payment and the government would finance the rest, that works to a degree. Years ago, they would want 20% down, 30% down. The problem with that is that a young couple finally scrambles and gets enough money to make a down payment, that 3%. They buy their house, and now what could happen? There's all kind of variables. The husband loses a job, the wife gets sick, and now you can't make the monthly payment. You don't have anything in the bank or any kind of savings to make up for that. It goes into foreclosure. This is almost the reverse of that. By taking monthly payments on a tax lien and allowing the opportunity to come directly to you to own your own home, you've still got your money. There's never been more opportunity in the real estate market than there is today. How can you make money in a contracting economy? Side Street Home Ventures is going to show you how you can do that. Find out how all this works. You can go to our website at www.greatergoodmediallc.com for more information or call us at 973-900-2831 to learn more about this very unique opportunity. when you were looking for that special someone.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
You thought she was the girl of your dreams. But sometimes it doesn't work out exactly the way you planned.
Don't forget, we're going to my mother's house this Sunday. You take your shoes off before you walk in this house. Does this make me look fat?
Now that you found that the hole in your heart was actually filled with a wooden stake,
No, I don't want that. No. Oh, God.
it's time to get out. Running away is not your only option. Use B4 Harmony. Why B4 Harmony? Because it'll bring you back to the time before you met her. Don't just choose any online service. Don't leave disappearing without a trace to the amateurs. Our B4 Harmony extraction team are professionals. They're made up of former Special Forces experts, Navy SEALs, a couple of gypsies, and some northern New Jersey family members who have pulled off dynamic rescues for religious cults and maybe a few drug dealers and some guys in Newark. When you can't have her out of the house fast enough, call B4 Harmony. Our experts will yank her out of there with minimal bruising, and that ringing in your ears from all that yelling will just fade away. The B4 Harmony extraction team can get her out of your life faster than she can top off the limit on your credit cards.
Honey, there's no room left on the charge cards.
You'll wake up the next morning like she was never even there. Just like before. B4 Harmony. Go to www.b4harmony.com or call us at 1-800-B4-YOU-LOSE-YOUR-MIND. B4 Harmony. Like she was never even there. Your home is the most single important investment of your life. Making the right choices when improving or remodeling that home can't be left to chance. For over 5 generations, Standard Tile has set the standard in product line, product knowledge, and service. Whether you're remodeling a kitchen, bathroom, or if you need help with design, make Standard your first choice for quality you deserve. Visit Standard at 316 Route 10 West, East Hanover, New Jersey, 973-884-4933, or visit their website at www.standardtilenj.com. In keeping with the theme of today's show, I wanted to talk to someone with respect to what's going to happen when people get back to work. What is the consequence? Where have we been? Where are we going? So, that said, we are very, very lucky to have Gail Lantz on with us next. Gail owns a company called Work Matters, Inc. Work Matters, Inc. is a leadership consulting firm that helps leaders think and work smarter. They help mission-driven CEOs and C-suite executives revitalize their teams to inspire innovation, attract top talent, and gain a competitive edge. Gail Lantz is a leadership expert, author, speaker, and trailblazer in her field who helps CEOs and executives shape corporate culture and inspire change. For over 20 years, she has devoted her work to helping others do the work that matters, making a positive difference in the lives of those they lead and serve. She is an author of the award-winning book, Take the Bull by the Horns, and creator of The Leadership Journal. Gail also developed a free mobile app called My Daily Coach that offers daily leadership insights. Gail, thanks so much for being on Greater Good Radio.
I'm glad to be here, Bob.
Gail, please tell us what Work Matters is and what you do.
Well, Work Matters is a leadership consulting firm that works with change agent leaders that want to transform their organizations in record time.
Okay.
So, we work across industries with organizations of all sizes. So a lot of work to be done right now, especially in the midst of all the change.
Gail, I wanted to get your opinion on what was happening prior to the pandemic, and then where we ended up during, and how we're going to come out after.
Yeah, well, I think before the pandemic, at least as far as the workforce is concerned, employers were really trying to drive employee engagement. There was a lot of stress to begin with, even before the pandemic, people thinking about leaving, looking for new opportunities. There's a huge, movement, especially among young people, to really land in jobs that are very fulfilling for them. Saw a lot of shakeup then, but during the pandemic, people have changed a lot. Who you were before is not necessarily who you are coming out the other side. People have experienced a lot of stress during the pandemic. Some of their priorities have shifted. They're trying to align themselves with what really matters. Some are rethinking their roles. And even, there's some personality shifts that we're seeing as well when we do assessments and see that people have really changed. And are not necessarily exactly how they were before they started.
Yeah, what about productivity? Have you heard anything from industry leaders about the effect on folks not going into the office and participating now in Zoom meetings and things like that?
Yeah, I think it varies depending on the industry. I was just speaking to a leader in an accounting firm, and they're able to do a lot of work to maintain their productivity. A lot of their work is behind the scenes, but compared to other industries that have been harder hit, it really is just really kind of, I think, industry specific as well as how the company was structured.
Sure. Do you work with any companies that would be involved in the service industry, restaurants, things like that?
A few. I know that they've been really hard hit, and some of the ones that I've seen do best pivoted quickly, turning their restaurants into more delivery services.
Sure.
So I do think it's important for restaurants in particular to be thinking into the future, not trying to go back to exactly what they were, but to really envision what could that new landscape look like and try to get ahead of the curve and do something that really helps them move forward differently instead of trying to go back to exactly how things were.
Sure.
So.
Well, that is some great commentary because, you watch the news, you listen to people and they're talking about, quote, the new normal. I try to really eliminate the word normal from anything that we've gone through or that we will go through. Do you see from the numbers of people that you have been able to communicate with, do you see businesses returning back to their prior, and I'm maybe I shouldn't use the word original, mission statements or the way they do business?
Yeah, I see more of them. Some are trying to do that, but I think the more forward-thinking ones are saying, what assumptions do we need to test now? We can't necessarily assume that we will be going back the same way. How can we look at trends and see where things are going? It's really trying to move towards something that looks new. It doesn't have to look radically different, but there are a lot of forward-thinking leaders that are really understanding the importance of challenging all assumptions right now and seeing what can we look like that will be different going forward.
Right. And what about growth? And once again, because I've read quite a bit about Work Matters, and I really applaud what you've done. I mean, you're an author. You've got quite a bit on your plate.
I do.
So my question is, as far as, once again, moving forward, are we looking to prosper, or do you think we're going to be confronted with an extended period of time before things really get into a new rhythm or some type of groove?
Well, I think a lot depends on where you are geographically. That's a relative question. I know that where you all are up in New York, New Jersey area, I'm in the South. Things look quite different where I am right now with businesses opening up, more people out in the community. So I don't think it's going to look like it did in the past, though, so that the pace of change will vary, I think, depending on where you live. It will change organizationally depending on leadership. their perspective, their desire to want to kind of push things in a new direction. So there are a lot of variables. It's hard to say. I wish I had a good prediction for you, but I do think that things are trending up. I tend to be the optimist, and think that eventually things will smooth out a bit, but they won't look the same.
Right. And is there, to piggyback off of your answer, is there any particular part of the country that really has suffered more than any other with respect to jobs, to companies going under? Here in the Northeast, like you would mention, I mean, our population is so great that, we have suffered tremendously, but our resilience and our ability to bounce back has always been pretty good in times of crisis. And I can't really get my head around, like you said, you're down south. Where are the pockets that we would have to concentrate on mostly with respect to getting back into that rhythm?
Yeah, I don't know specifically. I would just have to say in general, some of the larger cities with larger populations, the issues are more complex there. So I think it will take more time. But I think it's so much is driven by some of the organizations and the thinking, the mindset of the leaders and the people in that community. So I still think there are a lot of variables, but I just encourage people and businesses and leaders to really look for where you need to go next and to keep your focus that, and to not be so frustrated if things seem to be happening more slowly. It can be a longer recovery, though, for so many people, for sure.
Right. I have one more question, if you would, Gail. Do you see the numbers of people that have moved out of the larger cities to parts of the country that are less populated? And does that have any impact with respect to employer-employee relationships now that we're coming out of this thing?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely does impact the employer-employee relationship. Employers are having to think differently about their workforce and looking at ways to enable them to work remotely from everywhere. I think that there are shifts in both directions. My son just moved to New York City and is thrilled to be there now. So I think that there, regardless of the movement either out or into bigger cities, employers have to demonstrate that versatility to be able to find the talent that they need and leverage that talent wherever they're located.
Well, if you could tell me, now that we're kind of hitting home in really your backyard and in your house, what was the motivation for your son to move to New York?
He is working for one of the fastest growing SaaS companies out of Silicon Valley. It's a New York office. Having grown up in Alabama, it was very enticing for him to want to go to a big city. He had done an internship there, loves the diversity, the culture of New York. It's giving him a wonderful new experience. So I'm thrilled that he's there. He wants to learn and grow and have lots of new experiences. So what better place to be for him to do that?
Gail, you just said a mouthful. I look at this as, how people view a forest fire. The fire comes, everything's destroyed, it's horrible. But you know what? A few months after that, the animals start returning, seedlings start coming up. And really, that story just meant a lot. And I am extremely hopeful. I am the eternal optimist, and I'm hoping we get back to, like I said, a new rhythm, a new groove, just something for all of us to keep a roof over our head, chicken in every pot, 2 cars in every garage. Hooray, America.
Yes, believe it will happen. You have to have that hope and that optimism and keep that as your focus. Can't emphasize that enough.
Gail, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Take care.
The warm weather is rapidly approaching and things are starting to open up. Time to get to the beach. So,
It's time to shed those pandemic pounds we've packed on from staying home. That's only one good reason to join Lavalette Personal Fitness. Lavalette Personal Fitness focuses on personal touch. For 13 years, they've provided their clients with fitness programs seeking to achieve their goals for health and well-being. Lavalette Personal Fitness offers guidance in weight management, fitness for seniors, orthopedic exercise, and just plain good old working out. Don't wait to get into the best shape of your life. Talk about convenience. Lavalette Personal Fitness is the only fitness center on the Barrier Island. Call Gabby at 732-250-2185 or stop by and check out the facility at 501 Grand Central Ave, Lavalette, New Jersey, 08735. Or just pull us up on Facebook. I want to leave you with a little story. You talk about circumstances in life and where you find yourself. I grew up in Hawthorne, New Jersey. It was a great town. It still is a great town. Close-knit community. And in 1966, a girl who lived around the corner from our house, named Donna DeRyer, was on vacation with her family down in Asbury Park. Sadly, while they were down there, Donna was brutally and savagely murdered and raped. They caught the individual. He was given the death penalty back then, but then the courts reversed the conviction because the death penalty was deemed unconstitutional. Fast forward to 1991, I got myself in a lick of trouble, ended up at East Jersey State Prison in Rahway, New Jersey. Guess who I run into? The guy that killed Donna. You know, when you're in an environment like that, your mind runs crazy. You think to yourself, well, maybe I should kill this guy. But it turns out that he ended up getting brain cancer, and I got to watch him suffer. You talk about karma. Listen to the words in this song, Eye for an Eye.
With us every day, but evil rests and waits for things to feed on certain days. Bait for him, that's all she was. She didn't stand a chance. The jackal had his way with her. She struggled, then she passed. Eye for an eye, that's how it reads. When does it fit the deed? When God takes a pass on things, there's other ways to bleed. Don't let him go peacefully. Don't take him in his sleep. Let Satan send his messengers. He's Lucifer's to keep. Death row couldn't hold him long. The court turned it around. Jail for life is what he got. No remorse was found. I had the chance to take him out. I'm in the house of pain. Karma spared me from the act. There's cancer in his brain. Eye for an eye, that's how it reads. When does it fit the deed? When God takes a pass on things, there's other ways to bleed. Don't let him go peacefully. Don't take him in his sleep. Let Satan send his messengers. He's Lucifer's to keep. Sins the moment that you die. You can't escape the suffering to hear a mother's cry.
There may come a time in your life when you'll need an attorney. Whether it's a car accident or slip and fall, you'll want a professional with experience you can trust. Competence and reliability is what you'll find at the law firm of Hack & Rose. The attorneys at Hack & Rose, with offices located on the 10th floor at 112 Madison Ave in New York City, are dedicated to vigorously protecting the rights and interests of those who have been hurt due to the negligence or recklessness of another party. And the firm consistently achieves the top results in the state of New York representing accident victims. At Hack & Rose LLP, our accident lawyers have the knowledge and experience necessary to assist clients in their pursuit of compensation to cover medical bills, lost wages, and other losses that can result from a sudden accident. If you're interested in pursuing litigation or in need of support after you've been a victim of medical malpractice, the experienced and knowledgeable New York personal injury attorneys of Hack & Rose are prepared to help you more fully understand your legal rights and options. You can call Hack & Rose at 646-916-3890 or visit their website at www.hackroselaw.com for further information. Well, that's all we have for this episode of Greater Good Radio. We'll see you next week when we talk about sentencing. There has been a lot in the news lately about modifications they are making in the state of New Jersey, New York, Connecticut with respect to youthful offender status and getting rid of some of these mandatory minimum sentences, which, frankly, it's just been way too long. So that said, Percy, Q, Miguel, Mejente, Brian, Willie, V1, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Standard Tile of East Hanover, Hack & Rose, Attorneys at Law, New York City, and Lavalette Personal Fitness. Remember, when you're on the Barrier Island this summer, check out Lavalette Personal Fitness. Thanks to Joe DeMeo from Surefire Recording Studios in Long Branch, New Jersey. We'll see you next week on Greater Good Radio. I'm Bob Kosh on WOR 710 AM, the voice of New York. Thanks, everybody.